Hello, my name is Joshua Mugabi. I welcome you to topic 10.1, Asexual Reproduction in Plants. We are still on learning outcome B. Understand how plants reproduce asexually. We are going to focus on learning activity, group project. Grow plants in school by, for example, layering. Example, strawberries. Stem cutting. Examples, cassava. And root cuttings, as well as grafting. Example, citrus. The groups search and report the key principles underlying each method of propagation used and possible reasons for success or failure. Vegetative reproduction in Uganda. Item 1. Research work. A biology teacher assigns learners to work in groups to propagate plants within the school compound using different vegetative reproduction methods. Layering, like creeping plants. Stem cutting, can use cassava. Root cuttings, can use potatoes. Grafting, can use citrus plants. Task. What are the key principles underlying each method of propagation used? We have layering as the propagation method using creeping plants. The key principles is that a new plant forms while still attached to the parent. It receives water and nutrients during early development. The roots develop at the point where the stem attaches moist soil due to accumulation of hormones, and those are auxins. Once the roots are established, the new plant becomes independent. Now let us look at another method of propagation, and this one is the stem cutting, and we are going mainly to look at cassava. What are the key principles? Now the stem contains nodes that can form both roots and shoots. Stored food in the cutting support the initial growth. Now the new roots will develop from the meristematic tissue near the nodes. Another method of propagation is the root cuttings. That one, we can use it in sweet potatoes. What are the key principles? Some plants have roots that contain buds, and these buds are capable of developing into new shoots. The root cuttings must be thick enough to store food and initiate shoot formation. Adventitious buds grow into complete plants under moist, warm conditions. We go to another type, and that is grafting. This one is mainly done in citrus fruits or citrus plants. The key principle here, there is joining tissues of two plants so that they can grow together. The cambium layers of the scion and the rootstock must match for a successful union. It allows combining desirable traits. For example, you have a disease-resistant stock, and that one you combine it with a high quality fruit variety. Explain why propagation method succeeded. Layering, creeping plant, possible reason for success. There was good soil moisture, which enabled root formation. There was firm contact between the stem and the soil. Then we had a healthy parent plant, which supplied nutrients. Then we have the stem cutting, for example, the cassava. The possible reasons for success. There was use of a healthy, disease-free stem cutting and at least 3 to 5 nodes. There was adequate moisture in the soil. We had proper planting orientation, that one, the correct side up, and we had suitable soil temperature. Then we go to the root cutting, another propagation method. Why was it possible for it to succeed? We had to use healthy, mature roots, which had proper size of the root segment, around 5 to 10 centimeters. consistent moisture. We provided a warm environment which encouraged bud growth. Then we have grafting. Grafting, especially citrus fruit. What was the possible reason for the success? There was tight binding. This ensured cambium contact of the scion and the rootstock. We used healthy scion and also healthy rootstock. There was also protection from infection at the graft union, and we had moderate sunlight and adequate moisture. Explain why your propagation method failed. Let's start with layering of creeping plant. What were the possible reasons for the failure? The soil was too dry or too hard. The stems were not pinned firmly to the soil. The pests damaging the rooting points. And we had poor parent plant health. And the planting of dry, diseased cassava sticks. There was also some incorrect orientation, upside down. There was water lodging, causing rot. Then the cuttings were too old or too young. Then we come to the root cutting, like the sweet potatoes. What were the possible reasons for the failure? The cuttings were dry, thin, or damaged root cuttings. The root pieces planted too deep. There was excessive dryness. There was root rot due to poor drainage. We had also poor cambium alignment. There was incompatible scion and rootstock. There was infection at the cut surface. There was drying out before union forms. And there was also loose tying or damage by either wind or insects. Summary. From the group project, learners observed that plants can be propagated using layering, stem cutting, root cutting, and grafting, all of which are forms of vegetative reproduction. Each method depends on biological principles such as oxygen accumulation, presence of meristematic tissues, stored food, and cambium alignment. Success depends on correct environmental conditions, healthy materials, and proper handling, while the failure may result from disease, poor alignment, and unfavorable soil and moisture conditions. Thank you very much for participating in topic 10.1, Asexual Reproduction in Plants. We have been looking at learning outcome B, understand how plants reproduce asexually. We have been working on the learning activity group project to grow plants in school by, and for example, layering using strawberries, stem cuttings using cassava, root cutting, we used sweet potatoes, as well as grafting in citrus plants. Then the group search and report the key principles underlying each method of propagation used and the possible reasons for the success or failure. Thank you for participating. Please visit me at Mugabi Joshua Biology on YouTube. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.